So hello. I wanted to welcome you here today and to thank you for your time. My name is Asta, and I'm a certified mediator with a small claims court. The court has assigned me to your case, which I understand is between a homeowner and a contractor. I just wanted to let you know that as a mediator, I am a neutral third party. I'm not a judge of who is right or wrong, and you will determine and agree to the outcome. Our goal today is to move towards a collaborative solution to your situation, which reflects your main priorities. This process is voluntary, and the outcome of today's process depends on you. So, for the process today, we've scheduled 1 hour. We are going to start in a joint session, and each one of you will have a chance to present what brought you here today. You will also discuss options, and if needed, I may also spend time talking with you one-on-one, which is called the caucus, as well as with us all together. At the end, we may draft a written agreement for any conclusions and next steps that you reach. It's really important that before starting that we agree to a few ground rules, including that we will be respectful in our communications and we will listen when someone else is talking. The other thing that's really important is that this is a confidential process. You might see me taking notes to guide the process, but they will be destroyed at the end. I will not discuss what is said here with anyone else, even the court if asked. And this also means that I will not share anything from a one-on-one conversation unless you tell me to. I expect that you're coming here today in good faith to discuss constructive solutions. If at any point in the process you feel like it's not working for you, please let me know and we can discuss it. With that, can you please let me know if you have any questions, and can you confirm if all stakeholders are here today who need to be?
Yes, I'm the homeowner and I'm here. It's just me.
Okay. Do you agree to go forward with the mediation process?
I do.
Okay. Um, and Francis, do you have any questions?
I do. Question number one, what if we did not reach an agreement here today? And question number two, can I record our session?
Sure. So, I mean, as I said, any agreement will be completely up to you. Um, that in the case that there is no agreement, we will communicate that back to the court, and they will determine what the next steps will be if you're going to pursue the case in small claims court. Um, we would ask, since this is a completely confidential process and nothing of what is discussed here can be shared outside unless we agree in advance, we ask you to please not record this session. Are you in agreement with moving forward on the mediation process today?
Sure, yeah, no, I just this is my first time here, so that's why I was asking those questions.
Okay, great. All right, so just getting started, I also wanted to share with you, per the standard procedure, I contacted both of you 3 days before the scheduled mediation for a one-on-one pre-mediation call. I unfortunately was unable to speak with Ms. Jones, although I did have a quick conversation with Mr. Coleman. Um, but I'd like to get started by hearing from each one of you about what brought you to mediation today. And so, Alexis, would you like to start?
Yes, I'll start. So I hired Mr. Coleman to complete some repair work in my home on 3 floors, the main floor, upstairs, and in the basement. I asked him to start upstairs in the repairs, but he started in the basement instead. And in the basement, he claimed that he saw water stains and assumed there was mold. So then I hired a mold inspection company that Mr. Coleman recommended to conduct mold testing. And the testing did confirm, excuse me, that there was a presence of mold. Without my permission, though, Mr. Coleman obtained the mold testing report and then insisted on doing the mold remediation himself. Now, keep in mind, he is not a certified mold professional, and I reminded him of this. The repair work was delayed due to the mold testing, and also I had some gas staying in my home, so that did cause a delay. Oh, and I forgot to mention that my homeowner's insurance was covering the repair work that he was doing. But anyway, Mr. Coleman has now abandoned my project. I called him, he called me back, and he said he would complete the project, but he now just continues to go back and forth without making any progress. Um, on January 23rd, 2025, as partial payment for his services, we agreed that I would to barter a dog, which was worth $2,000 or is worth $2,000. In addition, I paid Mr. Coleman about $400 for materials and another $100 for him to draft a letter to my homeowner's insurance policy or company. I acknowledged that he did submit the letter to me, but then there were some revisions needed and he never did those. So I've called him, texted him, and he has not responded. He is supposed to repay me the $2,000 for the dog since he did breach the contract, and I cannot accept the dog back because it's in currently poor condition. And so anyway, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I want my $2,000. I need the project done. I haven't heard from him, so I don't know what is going on with him.
Okay. Wow, that sounds like a lot going on. So can you just clarify, the agreement was to work on 3 floors of your house. Did you have a written agreement?
We
Is there a
we
contract?
it was more of a verbal agreement that we had that he would come in and do the work.
Uh-huh.
And so we started like we might have jotted some things down on paper really quickly, but it was nothing really very formal. And so, it didn't seem to be a problem. And he had done work for me before and,
Ah,
for others I know. So it had never been a problem before.
okay, but I mean, did you have an agreement on the amount of time or the cost? How's the cost broken down as far as the payments?
Well, like I said, my homeowner's insurance policy was going to pay for this. So he was going to, charge whatever he charged. And then, like, I had him draft this letter to my homeowner's insurance policy or company about, what the related charges were, what the problems were, and all of that. So, um, yeah. So it's just like now he's MIA.
Okay, but so was there a total cost for this work? That was the estimate? Was there a price quote that was provided?
Um, so I think it was going to be like including labor and materials, it was going to be about $2,500. So that was the estimate that he gave.
For all of the work.
Right. And these were repairs, like not like a major renovation, but like repairs to like, due to some weather issues.
Okay. And why did you have a preference about where that work would start?
Because like I knew that I was going to be having guests. And so I wanted him to start upstairs because that's where the guests would stay.
Uh-huh. Okay. Um, and then I'm sorry, you mentioned something about a dog. I didn't quite get that. How does that enter into the situation?
So he was like taking a long time and it was taking longer time. So like in terms of we knew it would take some time to get the money back from the homeowner's policy after, the delay due to the mold testing and all of that. So, we just agreed, he had a beautiful dog. He agreed to take the dog and, or that was, like partial payment. That would cover, I guess, like the labor, and then I paid for the materials outright, the $400
But how did you agree on the value?
of the dog.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just common knowledge, um, that it's like an expensive dog.
So you didn't have any pedigree for this for this transaction for the animal?
No, yeah, like he just like we just know that it's an expensive dog. It's a French bulldog.
Uh-huh. Okay. Um, so but you didn't have any written agreement for that. Did you have any kind of what did the agreement look like for this last transaction?
It was more so, I mean, like I've always dealt with him just doing with verbal agreements doing work for me. So, we just kind of continued in that way.
Okay. So um it sounds like you have a relationship with the contractor and you've worked with him before and that you feel like you had an agreement that he was going to perform repairs on your house for 3 floors and that the insurance company was going to cover all of the costs, but but you did not have a contract or a quote to have you just a one other clarification is have you received communication from the insurance company regarding the work to be done and whether they approve the work to be done?
Well, I have not received a check from the insurance company, so the work was not going to be a problem. So I just needed to have it done and then to send them, they only pay a certain amount, but that wasn't going to be a problem. I got
But
approval to have the repairs done, but so they don't pay you until you submit like the final bill at the end.
but sorry, you mentioned a letter that was sent to the insurance company, and so what were you aiming to achieve with that letter?
Well, I was trying to, so just to give them some idea about the amount. And like I said, he was supposed to do some revisions to the letter and he never did them. So,
So did you write to the insurance company?
he drafted the letter and I think I just had to send what I had, what he had given me, but he didn't make those revisions.
But did you receive a reply from the insurance company?
Right. It authorized the work, but it didn't say the specific amount that they were allotting for the particular repairs. So like I said, I haven't gotten payment because the work hasn't been done, which that would require, a supplemental submission of the receipt, which I had, given him a partial payment with the dog.
So, so what documentation do you have, just to be clear?
Uh, I mean, like I said, everything was verbal. Like he did like an estimate of, how much it would be. Um, but I do not have a written agreement with him.
But you have a written estimate for the work
Like where he just wrote down maybe like on a sheet of paper, like the things that needed to be done.
with the
Very,
amount?
very informal.
Hmm. Okay. And then what was your agreement with him on the mold?
So he wanted to do the mold remediation, although he's not a certified a remediator. And so he was trying to add that to the bill.
Hmm.
He didn't want me to pay somebody else to do it.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Francis, so sorry, but just trying to get an understanding about this a little bit complicated situation. Francis, what brings you here to the mediation today? And can you explain what happened?
Sure. What brings me here is because I guess your office contacted me that Alexis requested for mediation, which, I was surprised because just like she said, I have known her for, quite some times now. And I've done multiple work with her. And if there was an issue, she could have just contacted me. But nonetheless, I agreed to be here and we're here today.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, so can you can you discuss this recent job to work on her house? What was that for?
Yeah. So she hired me to work on her property, and we agreed on the price and everything. And then when I came to work on the property, she said I start from up. But when I went up, there were things that had not yet been removed from upstairs, which is why I started the work from downstairs, and I did the work. And one day when I was having a phone conversation with her, I heard a dog barking in the background. And
Mm-hmm.
I offered to take the dog, and in return I agreed that I will deduct 2000 $2,000 from the overall construction work for the dog.
Uh-huh.
We agreed on that, and I told her that I will come back. I will come and take the dog later. She
Okay.
insisted that I come and take the dog immediately. That she no longer want the dog. So I came
Okay.
and picked the dog on an agreement that I will deduct 2000 from the overall construction fee. Right? Now I
And
began
sorry, what was the total amount of the job?
the total amount of the job was 6,000.
6,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the total amount was 6,000. I will deduct 2,000 for the dog. And so I went downstairs to, with the intention of beginning work down there. And when I was there, I smelled mold. And I told her that there is mold, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't believe me at first. And she hired a mold testing expert or something. I'm not so sure. They came and confirmed that there was a mold, right?
Mm-hmm.
I offered to, do mold remediation. I think that is the correct word for it. But
Mm-hmm.
it is true, I'm not licensed. I've done it several times and she refused, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I have been, like, I want to go back and complete the work, but apparently I now understand that she is saying I do not have to continue the work. Instead, she want me to pay her $2,000 for the dog.
Mm. So, I mean, so can you just confirm what work did you already complete?
Yeah, I did work downstairs. Like, I did part of the work downstairs. I know there's still work that have to be done upstairs, and look. I'm not saying I don't. I don't. I'm not saying no. I'm not interested in coming to complete the job. I am interested in completing the job. My
Uh-huh.
only thing is I don't have the 2,000 that she want me to pay for the dog. our agreement was the 2,000 will be deducted from my payment.
Okay. Well, so I'm hearing you say that you have had a relationship with the homeowner and you've done quite a lot of work for her in the past, and you agreed to work on the repairs. And so the repairs were on, you've mentioned the upstairs and the downstairs. Was it your understanding that the repairs what's the extent of the repairs that was your original agreement?
Yeah, I was going to do work in both downstairs and upstairs.
So was that 2 floors or 3 floors?
2 floors, downstairs and upstairs.
Okay.
It was supposed to be 3 floors.
3 floors?
Yes. You don't even know what you were doing?
Look, I am just a contractor. You are a lawyer. You understand this more than myself.
But if you're a contractor, you don't know that. Like, how did you do the estimate if you didn't know you were supposed to be doing 3 floors?
Okay, well, so this sounds like this is something that we should put on our agenda as far as the work to be done. Is that right? Um,
So,
and
so here is the thing.
okay,
I don't think there is a question about the work that have to be done. Like, I'm not disputing the amount of work that need to be done.
okay,
And I am also not disputing, I'm also not saying I do not want to continue with the work. I am okay continuing with the work. I'm okay with the scope of the work. The only thing that I'm not okay with is this notion of I pay $2,000 for the dog. That's the only thing.
Well,
okay.
where have you been? You haven't come to complete the work.
But I called you.
So, well, hold on. I mean, so just to understand a little bit more about what happened. And so, why is it that the work was stopped? Francis, can you explain why the work stopped?
Yeah. Initially the work stopped so that the mold guys could finish working on the mold downstairs. That
Okay.
was the initial reason as to why the work stopped. But since then, I have been trying to coordinate with her so that I can come and finish the job. I have not been successful in doing that.
So I hear from you, Francis, that you are in agreement about the scope of the job and
Yeah.
that you are also wanting to continue to work to complete the job. So we have this situation of the work stopping. Alexis, can you talk about why the work stopped and what that situation is?
So, as I mentioned, he recommended a mold testing company to come out. And I mean, I'm not going to have just him saying he smells mold. I'm not going to have additional work done just based on that. So I needed to have specialists come out and determine that indeed there was mold that needed to be addressed. And
Mm-hmm,
they did. The test was positive. Like I said,
mm-hmm,
he, without authorization, got a copy of that. And so, we had the remediation done, and so that kind of halted work for a bit. And then I had some guests in my home, and I couldn't just have the work being done while they were there. So, I've let him know that there's an all clear and he can come back and do the work, and he just hasn't showed up. It's like, he's just, making excuses, saying he's going to come and doesn't show, or he could come this date, and he just hasn't been doing what he needs to do to finish the work.
mm-hmm. So Francis, can you talk a little bit more about the scheduling situation?
Yeah, I mean, just like she said, right? The first reason for the delay was mold.
Mm-hmm.
That is not my fault, right? The second
Mm-hmm.
reason for the delays was because she had visitors. Again, that is not my fault, right? So the entire reason behind work being delayed is not on me, 0%. It's entirely after the mold, she had visitors and I could not do the work. And even after that, I contacted her so that I can resume work.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not been able to effectively coordinate with her because I cannot just enter into our house when she's not there, right? For
Mm-hmm.
me to come in and do the work, she have to be there and let me in. And I have not been successful in doing that.
But I asked you to start upstairs and you decided to start in the basement. The basement is where the issue was. So if you had started upstairs, then that work would have gotten done.
Well, okay, so I mean, it sounds like there's the situation with the upstairs that you're highlighting is one part of the job, and then the other part of the job is the downstairs, the basement. And so just for us to understand the, and then we do also have this situation with the scheduling, but just as far as the work to be done, and the scope of the work to be done, let's let's try to, for the downstairs situation, is the downstairs work already completed or is it not completed?
It's not completed. He hasn't come back to complete it.
Okay. Um, Francis, is that the case that, what exactly needs to be done downstairs?
Oh,
Um,
just few touches here and there. And I can come anytime whenever she tells me that she's at home.
Alexis, what exactly is the work to be completed downstairs?
So it's repairs to like some weather related issues, like in the ceiling. And that's what the homeowner's policy was going to cover, the repairs in the ceiling. Like he's a contractor, he can explain it better.
Okay,
Um, like, cracked drywall and that type of stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know, like while he was waiting like for the mold remediation to be done, he could have been working upstairs like even before my guests came.
hmm. So just to get our agenda topics on the table to make sure we don't forget anything. So we have a situation with the downstairs repairs, and that's what I'm hearing you both say that you agree. And then there's the situation with the upstairs repairs. And what are the upstairs repairs supposed to be?
Similar, the same thing like drywall issues due to weather in the ceilings.
Okay. And are there other repairs, Alexis, that were scheduled to be done in the original estimate?
Everything I believe is in the ceiling and like on the walls or like high walls.
So the ceiling and the walls upstairs and the ceiling and the walls downstairs?
Yes.
Okay. And so you had mentioned also that there was a third floor that needed work. Is that separate or is that included in these two things that we
That's the
just
that's the main level that also is all. So, there was some, I guess, leakage and things that happen due to weather, and then, your foundation shifts and your ceilings crack and stuff like that. It's an older home. So, yeah, those are
okay.
the things.
And so did I hear from both of you that also you have a question about the amount and the payment? Um, and then related to that is the situation with the dog. Do I have that right?
Right. I'm sorry. I misspoke earlier when you were asking me the balance. So
Mhm.
he did say $6,000 for the work and then 2,000 would be deducted for the dog. And so I would owe him 4,000, but I already paid him 400, which was for the materials.
Okay.
So the
Uh,
dog plus the deposit for the money paid for the materials.
okay. So, so the amount of you're saying that the original estimate for the whole job was $6,000?
Yes, he's correct. I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier when I said
Okay.
otherwise.
Okay. And so what do you think is in question regarding the payment?
I mean, if he's just going to be MIA and not get the work done and not get it done in a timely manner, I just basically want my deposit back, which was the value of the dog, which was $2,000.
Hmm.
And the materials that I paid for, he can drop those at my house so somebody else can do the work. Like if he's not going to do, I mean, just like I said, he's just been absent and it just needs to get done and it needs to be done soon.
Okay. Um, and then Alexis, are there other agenda topics that you would like to see addressed?
I mean, it's sad, like the condition of the dog, like,
Mhm.
no, I could no longer take care of the dog, but like the dog isn't even in good condition anymore. Like, so I don't, it's sad that that has happened under his watch.
Okay. Um, and then I think I heard from both of you, then there's just the question about scheduling to either complete the work, and what that status is. Um, are there other agenda topics that we should put on the table today?
But also I want him to do a quality job.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I don't want him to just come do the work and say so he could say that he did it. I
Mm-hmm.
want him to do a good job like he's done in the past.
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying it's important to you to get a quality job, but that you have gotten a quality job from him in the past.
Correct.
Okay.
I even don't know why the quality of my work is an issue here.
I'm saying that I don't want you to come agree to come do the work so you can get paid and then you just do a crappy job.
So
You
Alexis, what's bothering you here?
Because I mean, it's just a shame that we had to come here. It's like, why couldn't he just come do the work like I asked him to do in a timely manner? It's like, I had to take time. Like the time we're here, he could be there doing the work.
Mhm.
Like he should have just come done the work like he's done in the past.
So how does that make you feel?
Angry and frustrated and like I lost a good resource.
Mhm. So, I mean, especially since you've had good work from him in the past and you know him, and so it
Right.
sounds like it's been a real disappointment as far
Yeah,
as
it
this
has.
current situation.
Yes, it
Um,
has.
Francis, can you tell me how you're feeling right now?
I I think that if disappointed, I feel
Mhm.
disappointed. I feel like it is unfair that Alexis is putting this on me. It was not my visitors who prevented the work. It was our visitors. I
But
did
you
not start the work from upstairs, just like she said. It is because she did not remove things from upstairs. Assuming I begin the work from upstairs and damage our properties, we will have a bigger issue. right?
Mhm.
So I was exercising. I mean, my contract did not say I remove things from upstairs. If she truly wanted me to start the work from upstairs, she could have removed things from upstairs and made the place available or ready for work. But that was not the case, and that's why I started the work from downstairs. Now, about this dog that she is constantly talking about. If at all she believes that this dog was in a good condition, why did she rush me to come and pick the dog? I am meeting expenses. This dog is sick. The dog takes medication every day, but I'm not like I can't just put a dog out. So I feel like this dog is even unnecessary expense for me, you know. And
So,
she knew that. She knew it. That's why she was trying
No.
to get rid of this dog ASAP. And that's why she's saying, I cannot take the dog back right now because she knows it.
well, Francis, I hear you saying that this whole situation has been very disappointing and
It is.
frustrating for you too. So can you just explain, Francis, why did you take the dog?
Because she was trying to get rid of the dog. And
Why did you take the dog?
I like dogs. I
Okay.
love dogs. Good companion.
Uh-huh. So you were looking forward to having the dog.
Was not in my plan, but when I saw it, I thought it would be nice. I did not know that this dog have underlying condition that takes medication every day.
Hmm.
And
So
now
what?
that and now that I have the dog, I feel like I'm stuck with the dogs, right?
Hmm.
So, but I'm pretty sure she knew. I'm pretty sure she knew.
So what is the condition of this dog? Alexis, can you talk about the condition of the dog?
I mean, the dog just looks sad. Like the dog didn't look like this. Like it looks like sickly and not well taken care of. And that wasn't the case. Like, does it make sense to you if he thought the dog was sick when he came to see it, that he would have taken it and paid or agreed to $2,000? No, that doesn't even make sense.
Well,
So
but why did you have the dog? This was your dog?
yes, it was my dog. And I just, things got overwhelming in life, and I just wasn't able to take care of the dog anymore in terms of, what you should do with the dog. Like, it's not just something that's in your home. Like, you have to, take it to the park, you have to play with it, let them, they like to cuddle and all of those things. And I just wasn't able to spend as much time as a good dog owner would do. Um, with taking care of the dog in that respect. But the dog was not sickly.
Hmm. So do I hear you saying that you did not think that the dog was sick?
No, I didn't
You,
think the dog was sick. I just thought and knew that I couldn't spend the amount of time that the dog required in being fair to the dog. And I
mhm,
even told him that he could, like, if he's not going to do the work, I would accept like installments for the $2,000. But like I said, he's just disappeared.
mhm. Okay. Well, so we have a number of topics on the table. Um, where would the two of you like to start first? Which topic um, would you like to start with? We talked about the work to be done upstairs and the work to be done downstairs and the amount of payment, the condition of the dog, scheduling. And then I'm not sure, you had also mentioned the mold remediation, but did I understand that's already completed?
Yeah, that's been done.
Okay, all right. So Alexis, w- w-
Uh,
talk
Mediator?
about what's most important for you and what you're really hoping to get out of today.
I really want the work completed and completed well. And I want the work completed well and in a timely manner. And if it's not going to be done, because I want the work done well and in a timely manner, it means that I need to spend that money with another contractor. So then I want him to pay the $2,000 that was the value of the dog.
Okay. Francis, what's most important for you to get out of today?
I just let her tell me when to come and start the work. I'll come start the work. And after the work, I need a good review from her.
A review on where?
I'm trying to, your friends, put a good work, put a good word for me. Like, I'm trying to work with you here.
When can you come get to do the work? What is
Let,
your time frame?
let me know when you're available. I will be there.
I
Okay,
don't
can
believe
we
it.
let's try if this sounds like completing the work on a timely basis is and completing it well as a priority for both of you, can we talk about sort of how to move forward with that? So I hear you talking about scheduling. Can we be a little bit more specific about that? Alexis, when would be a suitable time to schedule the contractor to come?
So how long does he need? How long do you need to complete all of the work that we discussed?
Yeah. I know downstairs, main floor, upstairs. I need approximately 7 days.
7 full days. So you're talking about like 56 hours or
That
longer, more than that.
that is correct.
Okay, and
And
so Alexis, as far as your schedule, and it sounds like maybe the scheduling may not be the same based on what you said before for some of the parts. When when would be a suitable time?
I mean, so there's some days that I have to go in the office or I can't have, the noise from work going on, but there are like a couple of days per week during the
Okay.
week. And I don't know if he does, and I can't recall if he does any weekends.
Well, Alexis, what would you propose as the suitable times for him to come and work? What are those days you said you're free?
So like a couple of weekdays, usually on like a Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, and then on weekends,
Are you saying Saturdays and Sundays, or are you just saying one?
Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay. And Francis, how does that fit with your possibilities?
I will begin if you're available. I cannot work on Saturday. Saturday is my as you know, um my religious day. I
Oh,
don't work.
Francis, what about
I will
Monday,
start.
Tuesday, and Friday?
Actually, I want to start work if you're available this coming Sunday. I work Sunday. I will be done next Sunday. Straight like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and next Sunday I will be done.
So
All
I
right.
can I can do
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. I can't do Wednesday and Thursday, and you can't do Saturday. So is
Okay.
that still giving you Sunday?
Sorry?
So I can't
So,
do Thursday.
Yeah, it will be impossible to finish Sunday if those days don't work for you. Like right now, that would mean the time frame to finish the work is gonna be uh I have something next week. So the only thing is I can The only thing is if you want the work done expeditiously, then the schedule that I gave you earlier is the best that I can come up with right now because I'm gonna be traveling the other week.
Well,
And
so you can't do Sunday through the following Monday?
so I will leave Sunday night. I will be out for a week, then I will come back. If that's okay with you, I can finish what I can finish right now, and then the remaining portion I can do it when I return.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that based on the scheduling that you have available, Francis, did I hear you say you could start as soon as this coming week?
This coming Sunday, yes.
Okay, so that sounds like you could do, based on Alexis availability, 4 days the first week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And then based on your estimate, you would do 3 more days the week after next because you're going to be absent for 1 week. Is that what you're saying?
So I'm looking at my calendar right now. So if I start this Sunday, that is gonna be uh, that's gonna be February 1st, right? February 1st, Sunday. I will work second, third. Alexis, you said you're not available on the 4th, right?
That's right. The Wednesday and Thursday, I think she said.
Okay, so 4th and
Correct.
5th.
Not available on the 4th and 5th.
Okay. So
So
then, okay.
available the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So you said you can't do the 7th.
Yeah, I cannot do the 7th and the week of 8th, I'm not gonna be available. So that meant that meant I will come and resume the work 15th and 16th.
Are you so on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 6th, are you working an 8-hour day or are you working longer days?
I am working because I want to get this done. I will end up working more than 8 hours.
Okay. I just don't, I'm really hesitant to have it extend into the following week, on the 15th or 16th. I don't know if maybe if I could do add the 5th that Thursday, would you be able to complete it?
The challenge is, I mean, I have worked with you earlier. You know, I take pride in my work, and even with these days that I've given you, I will be working more than 8 hours, and I don't see the possibility of extending more time to cover, I don't see the possibility of finishing a work that will like take more than at least 10 hours in a short period of time. So
So,
I want to do a quality job for you, and that's why it's gonna be impossible.
I mean, I've heard from both of you that a quality job is important to both of you. And so I think it sounds like, Alexis, the one option is that Francis can complete the job in 7 days of work. And so I think, Alexis, it's up to you to propose if that's going to be working 7 days every day, even if you um, and whatever that takes to make it happen, or you can choose, if due to scheduling issues, which days would be completed, if it's going to be 4 days in 1 week and 3 days in another week, or 5 days in 1 week and 2 days in another week. What if you weigh all of your considerations, what would you propose, Alexis?
I think maybe we would go back to his original suggestion of the Sunday to Sunday, and I'll just have to make it work. I understand he won't be there on that Saturday, for religious reasons, so he will be working Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And was he going to work the following Sunday, part day, or where his original thing was Sunday to Sunday? So if we return to that, then I'll just have to make that work.
If we return to Sunday,
Yes.
Francis, you said you could complete the job within 7 days.
yeah. So that will mean we will begin the job February 1st. I will finish February 8th. And
Okay.
February 8th, I am very confident the work will be done by around 4-ish p.m. Because yeah, like I will do everything to finish the work before, if late than 4 p.m.
All right. So Alexis, does that, how does that sound to you?
It sounds fine. I mean, but we just have to put in a provision for if it's not done by February 8th at 4 p.m. as he stated, what the resolution will be.
All right. And what would you propose?
Um, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll knock some money off or something. I don't know.
Okay. And so what is going to be the cost to complete the remaining work? Can you both repeat your understanding about what the cost will be?
So the material, she gave me money and
Yeah.
I already bought the materials. So material is already there. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a matter of finishing the work.
So what's that cost going to be, Francis?
She gave me I bought material worth $400. I think, yeah.
So I owe you $3,600.
Sorry?
So I owe you $3,600.
No, because out of the 6K, the 400 that you gave me is not for my labor. It is for material. And I bought the materials already. And my labor 6K deduct if I deduct 2K from the 6K, that means you owe me 4K, $4,000.
Well, Francis, maybe both of you can do you happen to have your original price quote available? Because the question is, what was that original price quote,
6,000.
right?
And you're saying that was just for your labor?
That's my labor, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
The
It's
four
fine. It's fine. It's fine. $4,000.
okay, so what is the agreement for the remaining cost to complete the job?
$4,000.
Okay. Um, all right. And so, um, what else would you like to talk about today?
Is he going to take better care of the dog?
Alexis, it sounds like you are saying you're wondering about the dog.
Right.
What exactly do you mean when you say that?
That is not going to be in such poor health. It's like, I knew that I didn't have the ability to take care of the dog as I needed to, but like I didn't think that he would take the dog and the dog would end up being so sickly, like looking like terrible.
Um, Francis, what actually is the situation with the dog?
I don't know what she's talking about. And like that's why I did not say anything. I think the question as to will he take good care of the dog? I think that is way, way, way out of this. What I do in my house, if I don't like or love dog, I would have not offered for it. And how I take care of the dog in my house, I have a definition of what quality care in my house look like. And I don't think we are going to, like, I'm not open to discussing definition of quality care in my house in this mediation. That is a non-starter for me.
Okay, so Francis, regarding the dog, did you have any things that you wanted to raise? Or are you saying that it's not necessary?
It is not necessary
Okay,
unless if she is saying, you know what, you're not taking good care of the dog, I want my dog back.
okay,
If that's what she say, if that's what she's saying, then I'm open for it.
okay. So Alexis, I mean, for both of you, it sounds like you're both interested in the well-being of the dog. And um, it sounds like that's something that's important. Just regarding, but I did hear, Francis, that you said that it's for today, it's not necessarily necessary to go into the details about the dog's situation. And so, Alexis, do you agree with that?
I mean, I can't take the dog back, but it's just very sad. Like, and then for him to respond how he takes care of the dog is his business. That, anyway,
Well, I
it's
hear
never
that this
I
mind.
is
have an offer. I have an offer to make.
okay. Well, I hear that you're both actually quite concerned about the dog's situation. But Francis, it does sound like I think you had mentioned earlier that um, the dog is being treated for the illness, and um, is it correct that the dog should improve?
Because here is this is my problem. I don't really understand, like, when she said the dog looks sickly, what does that mean? I am giving, like, food is out 24/7, water is out. I am walking the dog twice a day. I am treating the dog like I'm taking very good care of this dog, right?
Okay.
Do I like that I am giving the dog medicine? No, I don't. And do I feel like I got cheated in this transaction? Yes, I do. And if we not to turn this me versus her, I'm very sure the dog have a vet record. We can go to the vet and we can look at the health history of that dog and see if there was any issue before I got the dog.
Francis, what are you saying exactly?
I'm saying that the same way I am not making a big deal that she lied to me about the dog, she shouldn't pretend here that she cares about the dog. I'm taking a very good care of the dog to the best of my ability.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, Francis, I hear you saying that you are doing your best to provide good care for the dog,
Yeah.
and that you feel really frustrated that the dog has been ill. Um, Alexis, can you just talk about it? Francis, are you asking Alexis a question about the dog?
I think I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated because I feel like Alexa's lied to me, and I'm
I did
frustrated
not.
because I
I
feel
did
like,
not. I did not
yeah,
lie to you. I'm not going to talk about the dog anymore. It is what it is. The dog was not sick.
Well,
Just less plan for you to come do the work.
All right. I mean, I think that from what I'm hearing from both of you is that you have had a relationship for quite some time, that Francis has done work for you multiple times, and that you feel like you trusted him. And Francis, it sounds like you also have had a good relationship with Alexis as the homeowner. And so, am I hearing from you that this situation with the dog is making you feel like the relationship has been damaged because it wasn't given in good faith? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I don't want to make a big deal out of it.
Okay.
I could be wrong that she lied to me, but I feel like I was lied to. Um, and I
Well,
mean, yes, please.
well, but Alexis, can you share? Has the dog been sick previously, to your knowledge?
I'm not talking about the dog anymore.
Okay. So, um, I mean, what I hear is that Alexis has stated that she did not lie about it and that she's concerned about the well-being of the dog, as are you. Um, Unfortunately, we've reached the end of our time today, but I hear that it sounds like we have an agreement on the exact days for the remaining work to be completed, and the time frame and the cost. And would it be okay with you? Would you two like to draft a written agreement, or would you like my assistance in drafting an agreement for you to take a look at to see if it corresponds with all of the things that we've talked about today?
Sure, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. I think there was one detail that you have agreed on the days to complete the remaining parts of the job, and you've agreed on the cost. I think that Alexis, you also wanted to make sure that it was included that in the case that the work was not completed as agreed, that there would be something that would happen after, like a discount on the price. Francis, what's your reaction to that?
What discount?
Never
Well,
mind. It just, I mean, in total, I would like it all done by the 8th. If not, he can come those additional days of that following week and just complete it.
to complete the job. Okay. Uh, Alexis, do you have anything else that you would like to add today?
No,
Is there something that you would like to suggest as far as the future of working with Francis as a contractor?
no.
What about my good review?
It can be part of the agreement. I'll give him a not bad review.
And it is sad that we're here. We have worked together. We have had a really good relationship, and I'm being very honest with you that I want to continue with our relationship. That's why I'm
Uh,
putting everything aside and get this done.
okay. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So it sounds like Francis is really emphasizing that he's really appreciated working with you in the past, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to complete the job to your satisfaction. And then, Francis, would you like to say something about the future of your contracting relationship?
To be determined based on the quality of the work that I'm gonna do. But I really think I'm gonna do a really good job that she is gonna be happy with, and hopefully at the end of it all, we are gonna be, we're gonna get back to where we were before this. I think this
Uh,
was just a small misunderstanding, in my opinion.
Okay. I can agree to that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all of your efforts and time on this. And we will get that draft agreement out to you by the end of the day for you both to take a look at and to sign.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. So here is can I say one thing? Actually, I mediated this case. I mediated this case myself, and you know, it is very difficult to be a party in this case because at some point I was getting really frustrated with this.
Okay, so what was the worst part?
So
Um,
do you
let's
want us to give her feedback, Francis?
yes,
Or
let's transition to that now.
yeah, so I feel like you were very empathetic and did a great job restating like what you heard us saying and summarizing. One bit of feedback that I got in the past for myself is in the beginning, like when you're giving your introduction, maybe people would tell me, oh, take a break in speaking to give people an opportunity to digest what you're saying. So I would make that same suggestion to you. And I thought, I don't remember anybody before having like an agenda, which you referred to, that I thought was like a pretty good idea to as a way to discuss the interests or what people are wanting to discuss.
Yeah, I oftentimes said make your introduction a conversation between you and the parties, as opposed to sort of like making it feels like you're telling parties what to do because that can shut parties can shut them off. Um, I'm curious though about. I wasn't sure whether you spent more time on the scope of work. And for me, I felt like the scope of work was unnecessary. So I'm not sure if that was also true for you, Alexis, and maybe you could tell us your thought process. Why was that important for you, Asta?
In the beginning, when she was asking me questions about it, well, some of them I didn't have answers, and I was trying to make up answers. Um, Francis, I think you cut out part of my thing because we did this mediation a while ago, and I think I was missing, might have been missing some information. But anyway, yeah, you did ask a lot of questions about the contract in the beginning.
Well, I was trying to get the facts on the table as far as like what the basis for the disagreement is. And so, like, it's one thing, like, if you had it all spelled out for like, this is what the job is, this is how much it's going to cost. And especially if you're dealing with an insurance company, you need better documentation. So the thing that triggered me to ask more is when Alexis, you said, oh, it's to work on 3 floors of the house. And then he said it's to work on 2 floors of the house. And so that made me think you didn't actually have an agreement on the scope of the job. If there hadn't been that discrepancy, then I might have skipped some of it. But I mean, it sounded like anyway, that's what it made me think that you didn't actually have a common understanding of what the work was to be done, and that the problem wasn't only scheduling to do it, but and then this damn dog, and so I mean, I guess the reason, I mean, okay, so in the mediator's brief, it says that the mediator had a pre-conversation with the contractor, and the one thing that the contractor was all bent out of shape about was the dog, and the dog being sick, and that was his. Oh,
Oh,
look at that doggy! So based on trying to understand like
Asa.
what was hurt, what was the main issue from his side, based on the fact that in the pre-meeting he said that was his number one concern. I didn't want to totally leave it off the table. And it seems like there's a ton of room for misunderstanding there too, because it wasn't written down. There's no documentation for the value of the dog. Like, so the parties could truly, get into a dispute about that, about was it worth it? And they didn't have they had nothing is written. That's a bad idea. And so you just said you told me that you want, according to the guidance, that you want to get rid of the dog right away. And so I was like, I just wanted to make sure that the dog thing wasn't going to come up and ruin, the agreement to actually finish the job.
Yeah,
But I know it got a little bit painful at the end because I was like trying to put it away, and then you were saying it's not a big deal, but then I was like, okay, but is it really put away? And so I don't know. I had a bit of a dilemma myself, and then you're like, no, it's okay, but then it's like, okay, but then I don't know. Anyway, so
yeah, no, yeah. This case, when I was mediating it, it felt more than just a construction dispute, and actually, the big portion of this case was the insurance and the dog. Now, with the insurance, what came out was this the contractor did write a letter, right? But whatever the insurance gave the house owner was not enough. So the house owner wanted the contractor to write another letter, and the contractor is saying, no, I can't do that because this damage that you want me to vouch for happened before, and the insurance must have already addressed this earlier.
well, you guys didn't say that.
That's the
I did
truth.
ask about it because it's a little bit, I mean, insurance companies are kind of finicky, and that's what I was trying to find out is like, do you already have an agreement that the insurance company is going to pay for this? So that's
Yeah,
why I
I
was
don't
trying
think
to
that
push on
part
it.
was in my thing, Francis. So I didn't know about that.
Yeah, no, it was not. It was not. It's. I think I deducted that from the actual instruction that I got, but it was part of the actual instruction. You know. But yeah. Um. As a party though, I truly, truly I enjoyed your facilitation style. Um, as a party, I was really getting frustrated for real, and I wasn't sure whether like you were reading my discomfort, you know, because I think if you were reading at the back of my mind, I was debating, wait, is she gonna ask me to go speak with her in a caucus or she's not? Should I be the one to initiate that?
Uh-huh.
So that was the only part where I felt like I think she's losing me here.
I forgot about caucus.
So you're saying as a party you wanted to have caucus?
Yeah, because I was getting like I was at a point where I was like, you know what, just let's get it over with. Or I was debating actually, like in the real mediation, I probably would have been like, you know what, I'm out of here.
So wait, at what point did you feel super frustrated?
I think you asked me and I actually told you that I think either frustrated or disappointed or something of that
You
kind.
said
Oh
both.
yeah, you
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 said
said
both.
disappoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were clearly frustrated and disappointed.
What do
And
you have to say, Caroline?
Francis, are you done?
yes.
So I'll start where Francis just left off. I really felt like I wondered what Francis was thinking, if he felt like his side was being respected, or if he felt like there was more pull towards Alexis. Um, I noticed during the opening statements there was a lot of questioning of Alexis, and it went on for a long time. Not that it wasn't valuable, but all that time, Francis is sitting there like not being able to speak. He hasn't given his opening. He hasn't been able to respond to anything. And it appears that you were very interested in what she had to say. Um, During Francis's opening, you actually interrupted him at one point. Um, when Francis mentioned that he was, hurt or frustrated about the quality of the work, you went to Alexis first and got her feedback on that. So I thought it should have been, let's find out what Francis is feeling right now. And then at one point, Francis said he had an offer and he never followed up on it. So I really felt like I wondered how Francis was feeling right then. So it's something to keep in mind. Um, I wondered if during the opening statements, and I've struggled with this myself, I just let people say whatever they say, and I ask the other person to give their opening statement and maybe respond to what they heard, and then I'll ask the other person to respond to what they heard before I start asking more clarifying
Mm.
questions. That's my new that's my new thing because then you can get tied up in spending so much time with one person and not the other. And in the meantime, the other person has no opportunity to respond. They're probably like sitting on their hands, dying to say something that they don't agree with. Um, but I thought your opening statement was very good. It was comprehensive. I liked your tone. It felt confident. One thing I do say is our goal today is to reach an agreement. So I know other mediators will say, "Oh, if you don't want to, you don't have to continue with this if you don't want to." I try to and I do say that. I say it's voluntary, but I don't say, and you didn't say this. I don't say, you don't have to continue. I say it's voluntary, and if you have any concerns, let's talk. But our goal today is to reach an agreement. So when Francis asked, what happens if we don't reach an agreement? My I would have said, our goal today is that we're going to reach an agreement, and if we can't, we'll talk.
Mm.
Because I want people thinking forward. I want them to focus on reaching an agreement. Um, I loved how you kept mentioning the relationship. You started mentioning that right away. And I thought that was important that they each remember that they had a relationship and they want to continue to have a relationship. I think that's a good interest that they both shared. And thought that was really good. You mentioned it a couple times in your summation. I thought that was very good. Um, there was So I know that you had some information about the dog, but they hadn't raised the dog um, towards the end there. In fact, a couple times they each said it's a scheduling issue. I was like, well, I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's get it scheduled because they kept saying, well, I tried calling you. I wanted you to call. Like, okay, well, when do you want to start? So I thought we could have jumped on that and forget about the dog because really hadn't raised it as I want money back for the dog or anything. So, and that happened twice, I think, where they each said right after the other, referred to it as a scheduling issue. I was like, let's get it scheduled. And at the end, again, you raised the issue of the dog again. And I just felt like I was worried that that would derail the conversation. It sounded like you had worked with them really well to identify some dates to get started and how that was going to work. And then the whole issue of the dog being sick, could have derailed their relationship going forward, which is something they were both interested in. So, um, I wonder if your pre-mediation made you hyper focus on the dog when they hadn't really brought it up as an issue in the so I just wanted to raise that. And then the only other thing I would have, and you tried to get to it, was to get Alexis to be more flexible in her scheduling. And I heard you almost give her an option. But I think the question would be, are there any other options for him to work on other days? But you were trying to get her to be flexible. Um, oh, that leads me to my last thing. I try to avoid the word why because people can get defensive. And I noted that you wrote, why did you have a preference for where to start? Why did the work stop? Why did you take the dog? Sometimes I just try to get why right out of my head. Like, how did that come about? Or can you tell me more about starting on the third floor? Just because why can get you in trouble sometimes. But overall, I thought it went, I thought it went great.
I completely agree with you. I thought you did a fantastic job. And I'm curious from you, how did it go from you?
Yeah, I was trying to I mean, because just to start with, I mean, the mediator's pre-briefing note was so confusing because I'm like, what is this about? Because it doesn't actually tell you what it's about. It just says there's a homeowner and a contractor, and then there's a whole long thing about talking to Mr. Coleman and the dog. And so I think because of that, I was like, I have no clue what this is about. And so I had in advance thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have to be extra careful to get the facts out because this is like not obvious at all what in the world this is about. And it made it sound like it was about the dog. I appreciate the suggestions about vocabulary. And then, yes, I myself was frustrated about the dog situation, but I felt like I felt like it gets since it was on there that I had to address it. But I take your point is that they were not so focused on it, and I could have just moved on from that. I felt a little bit of a dilemma though because okay, if we're talking about them preserving the relationship and they work together a lot over the years, like this was like, it was a reason why that, they were feeling frustrated about the fact that it had come to that. Like that was one of the reasons. And so I guess I was trying to give a chance, for I was trying to set it up so that maybe Alexis would say something like, "No, I didn't know the dog was sick, and I absolutely would never do a thing like that to you. Like I wouldn't give you a sick dog on purpose." But anyway, I mean, if there was some way to, because that had been, although it wasn't, it just seemed like it was part of this whole thing about the rupture of the relationship, even though, like on the surface of it, it sounds so stupid, but it does seem like it was one of the things that that they ended up in a conflict about, seemingly more than some of the other elements. So yeah. It's I guess that's it's like it's hard to sort of figure out like I was trying to go through the various steps of the sort of mediation, but when you're trying to kind of wrap it up, if there's something that has been put on the table earlier, even if they were not saying it was their number one thing, is like, can you just leave it off if they don't say they're putting that in their top item? Um, so I wasn't sure what to do about that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear them say that during this session. I didn't hear them say that it was an issue. And I wonder about the pre-mediation. I've always wondered about pre-mediation preparation. One time I felt I over-prepared and I felt like I handled it terribly. I would have been better if I hadn't prepared. And that's a question for Francis for another time or maybe later. But I do wonder about pre-mediation and yeah.
It's kind of like ex parte communication in a way, with attorneys speaking to one party without the other present. That does seem a little weird,
Mhm.
Mm.
Francis.
Yeah, but with pre-mediation, so in the actual sense, with pre-mediation, you're not going into the substance at all. You are just, introducing yourself as the mediator, and you probably just talk about like what the process is gonna look like. Very, very brief, very brief. And
Mm.
oftentimes, for me, what I do and say is that, well, whereas it is good to prepare, don't over prepare. And regardless of how much preparation you did, that information only account for less than 30% of the information. So coming to mediation with an absolute open mind will do you justice, because then you are able to follow parties and lead parties based on what it is that they're saying is important for them during the actual mediation. And for example, if let's say parties say mentioned about dogs one, and they mentioned about the repairs that needed to be done 3 or 4 times, that means the repair is the most important thing, right? And sometimes, like in the actual mediation, you will get your intake today, and from the time parties submitted their pre-mediation information to the time when they get to mediation, it could be that more than a month has passed. And at
Mm.
that, there's a lot of things that happen within a month, right? So you just want to allow yourself to flow with the parties. And for me, it boils down to three things: listen, reframe, and asks. Yeah, that's the three things that it boils down to. But overall, I really, really, really think you did a fantastic job. Um, you know, Sometimes it's good to push parties to their uncomfortable stage. And I think you did a fantastic job.
All right.
Yes, you seem very comfortable, confident, in control, um, reassuring. Yep.
Thank you, everybody. And Alexis, you are so cute with your dog.
Thanks. This is actually my grand dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my older daughter is staying with us, and so Denver is his name, comes along with her, and
Oh,
he is either on your lap or in your face at all times.
yeah.
It was funny, he just came for me to pick him up right before we started talking.
That's
All
so
Thank,
right.
cute.
all right, thank you guys
Thank
so
you,
much.
everybody.
All right, thank you. Please
Thank
have a
you.
good one, everyone.
Okay,
You
you
too.
too.
Bye
Bye
now.
bye.